Steph Weaves Tales presents Paxwood, The Haunting of Paxwood House, a paranormal fantasy web serial written and narrated by Stephanie Gildart. Episode 37, The Power in Truth. A whirling mob of masquerade ghosts separated me from Char. I'd come here to bring her home safely, but I knew so little about this world of magic. How could I compete against an experienced mage like Trisha Anholtz, combined with the ghosts of the Paxwood ladies and their demon lord? Only with my best friend working along with me against these foes. Even if we weren't in line of sight with each other, we were in the same dream. I knew little about the physics of Slumberland, but instinct told me that intent and connection mattered more than proximity. Char. I packed her name with every ounce of intent for her to hear me. Concentrate on my voice. Think about me. Talk to me. Can you hear me? The masquerade dancers whirled and dragged me every way except toward Char. Everything turned blurry, unfocused, but instead of trying to process the visuals, I centered myself on the feelings. The first time I knew I loved you as more than a friend, it was on your last birthday. I wanted to do all the party planning for you, but you insisted nothing would bring you more joy on your birthday than planning the party yourself, as long as I ran the errands to make it possible. You had a creative vision that just took my breath away, and I knew I had to help you achieve it your way. Oh, was her soft reply. But it was her. I knew it was her. I felt a connection, small as a spark of a story idea. Only one way to make it grow. Since then, there have been so many times I wanted to say I love you. So many times. I was a coward and backed out because I don't want to lose you as my best friend. No. I know I've been selfish. The more I worry about keeping you in my life, the more every action I've been taking has been about me, not you, how I feel, what I'm not saying. It's eating me up, and it's eating our friendship up. I took you on an after-curfew moonlight expedition and got both of us in trouble. I brought you here to this haunted house and got you all tangled up with these ghosts. All because I wanted to hold you close, but I didn't know how to say it. You broke your arm because of me. I'm sorry, Char. I'm sorry I was afraid of you. The story I told, words spoken truthfully from the heart, stretched out between me and Char, seeking, hoping. I forgive you, Char responded. A connection snapped in place between us. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how to ask. If I'd made some kind of opening, it would have been so much easier for you. It wasn't an affirmation of reciprocal love, but I'd take it. It was real, resonating, and strong. We get out of here, then we can talk it out at Maisie's diner or your kitchen or my kitchen or anywhere but a ghost masquerade in a haunted house, I said, holding on to the connection. So, where was she? Kerry, according to my research, yes, I did my own research. The ghost that chased us out of the house was Nellie, and the ghost that was inside me was Luella. I'm almost certain. I looked up pictures of the Paxwood family, and, oh, get off of me, no! The masquerade ghosts were getting stronger, more forceful. I imagined a circle of rock salt surrounding me. The sensation of manipulating the dreamscape was getting more familiar. What I wanted, at least immediately around me, manifested. The salt circle solidified, and the ghosts slipped away from me. They couldn't move me, but they still made it almost impossible to see. Between their flickering forms, I could just make out Char getting dragged toward the horrifying throne. Nellie. I think she helped mix Cardoso too, I realized. Nellie, help us, please! Char, call for Nellie! I stepped out from the safety of my dream salt circle, pushing and shoving my way to the emerald carpet and the throne, reaching out for Char as I did. Nellie, please! I called out again. The ghosts parted and gave me just enough space to get to Char. I grabbed her by the hand and started pulling with all my might toward the door. Char became the rope in a tug-of-war between me and the masquerade ghosts, and I wasn't about to let them win. I spotted Bungle in one piece, an immobile sparkle of glass on the carpet, so I scooped her up. As I did, the ghostly ballroom announcer declared, "Miss Eleanor Victoria Paxwood." The crowd parted. Nellie stood in the doorway holding it open. She wore a simple, slim tea dress in sage, not nearly gaudy enough for this masquerade, but clearly made of fine material all the same. "Let's go," Char said. "She's helping us." No, not Char. It was almost Char's voice, but not her essence. If I hadn't already been sure, Nellie confirmed it for me. "Look," she shouted, pointing her hand. The Paxwood ladies had surrounded Char and were dragging her to the throne. For the second time, Trisha Anholtz had almost tricked me. I shoved her away from me, and this time I also pictured her true appearance, shoving the reality of Anholtz into her. She shimmered and shifted and became herself. "You don't get to keep her," I shouted at everything. "Char belongs to herself." Nellie strode up beside me, and we moved together in one surge. "Mother, sisters, this is wrong," Nellie said. I wrapped all my love and memory of Char around her and grasped for her, and she grasped back. She closed her eyes, and whatever it was she thought or felt in that moment, suddenly she was there in my arms. And we were kissing. Our first kiss. It was this soft, searching thing, confident in connection, yet tender in its newness. I could do this over and over again, finding the answers to every mystery of the universe with Char for the rest of my life. Nellie surrounded us and shielded us in a way that no physical entity possibly could have. Bungle shifted just slightly in my pocket where I'd stashed her, comforted by Nellie's presence. "If we can't have them, we will have a sacrifice," Florence Paxwood declared. The three other ladies converged upon Trisha Anholtz and dragged her toward the throne. "I will bring you a better sacrifice," she insisted, struggling against them. But they weren't listening. She cursed, and she uttered her harshest magic word. Then the dream faltered around all of us and faded. Since it was Anholtz's spell that brought us in, when she severed it, we all snapped free. Char, Anholtz, and I were awake within the broken magic circle. Bungle was almost stationary on my knee, but her tail twitched. Exhausted, but alive. However alive a construct could be. Near us, Rowen and Hugh the vampire lawyer remained locked in combat, and despite Hugh's superhuman strength and agility, Rowen radiated confidence in every motion. Where he lunged, she blocked. Where he withdrew, she moved in. She locked her gaze on him, let her short sword drop, and he took the baited opening. When he came for her this time, she thrust the blade deep into his throat under his chin. Vampires do not have beating hearts. The blood didn't spurt from him so much as ooze from the lethal wound. Rowen followed him to the ground, plunging her sword next into his still, dead heart and giving it a brutal twist. Then he began to age rapidly, skin wrinkling and withering until all that remained was a husk of a corpse. While I'd been watching that unfold with Char's wrist tied to mine, Anholtz fled. Char was the one who watched her go. She later told me how Anholtz looked genuinely terrified with every step. The threat of the Paxwood ladies using her as their sacrifice was not, apparently, something she wanted for herself, even though she would offer teenage girls to the demon. Would Sly be in danger next? Rowan's voice cut into the sudden silence. "We'll have to burn this. You two all right?" The basement was still cold, but the oppressive air was receding. "You kissed me," I said to Char softly. Her eyes twinkled as she responded. "Are you sure it wasn't a dream?" I'll take that as a yes, Rowen laughed. Suddenly, Nellie flickered into view. Worry furrowed her brow as she scanned the basement, but her expression smoothed when she saw Char and me, safe. As quickly as she'd appeared, she was gone. I dug into the bag of supplies that Char had put together, still with me, and I pulled out a kitchen utility lighter. Will this do? Perfect. I'll take care of this. You two, get on out of here. Hand in hand, Char and I went up the stairs, leaving Rowen behind. Later, she told me what she experienced while she was in the basement on her own. Rowen lit up the vampire's husk, like she had with so many husks before this. It was easier when they were old vampires like Ryan Hugh the vampire lawyer apparently was. The vampiric stasis of a lethal blow aged the vampire rapidly into their true mortal state. So, a decade-old vampire turned in their early 20s would appear more like a fresh corpse of a 30-year-old. Sunlight turned any vampire corpse to ash, but the old ones burned so much more easily with flame, like the vampire had cheated the afterlife for long enough, and the underworld was eager to claim the remains. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, she said out of habit, as the husk crumbled away. When she looked up, she didn't expect to see the entity she referred to as the Shadow Seer, a figure cloaked in black shadows, a voice masked, and yet somehow, still, a comforting presence. What did I tell you when last I visited you? Came the Shadow Seer's distorted voice. That the next time you appeared to me, it would be in the place where I can achieve my goals. Then, this is it? Rowen asked. This is the house where I can bring together the chosen ones who are being abandoned like I was. Are you willing to assume responsibility to become their mentor, guide, and leader? The Shadow Seer asked in return. Do you ever speak in statements? Rowen shook her head. Yes, I will lead them. I can't let them die alone. You have your answer. The Shadow Seer disappeared as quickly as they'd appeared, leaving Rowen alone in the haunted basement with a pile of vampire ash. She took her time ascending the stairs and making her way to the front door. This would be hers. She'd convinced the Paxwood City Council, and once she did, she paused at the door, looking back into the lobby and imagining it alive again. Then 3 out of 4 Paxwood ladies rippled into existence along the stairwell, staring down at her with hateful expressions. Rowen sighed. I'm gonna need a very good exorcist. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Paxwood, Book 1, The Haunting of Paxwood House, is written and narrated by Stephanie Gildart. That's me. Theme music composed by Human Nature. Visit paxwoodtales.com to read the story as it unfolds. Want to read over my shoulder while I write what's next? Catch me live on Twitch for laid-back virtual write-ins and crafting. If you like the story and you want more, like, review, comment, subscribe, and if you're feeling particularly entangled, buy me a skein of yarn on Ko-fi. Kerry's paranormal tip of the day. Yes, kisses that come from the heart really are just that powerful.